All right, here I have Kinsley with me. This is my 11-year-old daughter. I wanted to see what it means for an 11-year-old to be happy and ask her some questions and interview a little bit. And I think it will be enlightening for everybody to see. So, Kinsley, thank you for being on with us. You ready to have some fun? Answer some questions?
Yeah, yes.
All right. And by the way, this is one of the happiest children you'll ever meet. So that's why I wanted to see what kind of drives her and makes her what she is.
It's really true.
So, Kinsley, is there anything specific that has to happen to make you happy?
No, I'm just instantly happy every single morning.
Do you know why that is? Does something go through your mind?
Just to be happy, I feel like it would motivate a lot of people.
Motivate a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's one of your purposes, you think, is to make other people happy?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. When are you happiest? What time of day? Lunch? Morning?
Around
night?
lunch.
I had a feeling about that.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I get hungry and I get really grumpy when I'm hungry. It's true.
I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah.
Is there a specific season that you like that really makes you happy?
The one season I favor most would have to be winter. It's nice and cool, and I can finally just be myself and.
Just be yourself. What does that mean?
Just being myself means I can express how I am and not be a different person. Everyone should be able to be themselves, not anyone else.
Interesting. All right. Is there anywhere that makes you happier than any other place?
Besides my home, no.
So why does home make you the happiest?
Because home is where the heart is, and your family is your heart.
All right. From the mouth of babes, guys. So what do you think or believe it means to be happy?
I think or believe it means to be happy. For me, it just means I'm an influence off of people to be happy, and I also like to be happy. And this is the one thing that you always said to me, and your grandmother always said to me, fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. I like that. We're going to go over that in a little bit. So you're saying that you generally wake up happy and you try to keep that throughout the day?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you something happens that makes you not so happy, happens to all of us, what do you do in order to get happy again?
I just calm down, I do whatever, and I'll just sit in my room, think a little, and then I'll be out happier. I'll also give you a hug. That's what makes me happy.
All right, well, thank you, Kinsley. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we'll be right back. All right, so obviously today's topic is about happiness. And before I begin, I want to tell you a little bit of a story. There was a man that was walking along the road. He had one bag of stuff. All his stuff was in this one bag. A robber came along and snatched that bag from him. Went down the street, went around a corner, left his bag of stuff in the middle of the street for him to find, and then hid in the bushes. So eventually, this one person that lost his bag, he was very distraught and, of course, depressed that he lost all his belongings in the world. And he eventually wandered across his bag. Happiness came to him immediately, just like that. That is a very strong message. We have everything in the world to be happy about, but we don't realize it at the time. Life kind of gets in the way. Now, by definition, happiness is about being enjoyable or satisfied of just being. And it stems from a feeling of being in charge of our life as much as possible. All right, a lot of chemical reactions go along. Dopamine, which gives you excitement, and a surge of energy. So one of the ways to really hype up your dopamine levels is to go for small goals. You achieve that goal, you go for another goal, you achieve it. That builds up your dopamine in a very natural way. There is an amino acid called tyrosine, which you can find in several different proteins and whatnot, or supplement that can also raise your dopamine levels. Otherwise, exercise, you have sleep, good amount of sleep also raises your dopamine levels. They say about 7 to 9 hours. It's different for everyone. I usually get about 5 hours of sleep, which is fine for me. It works for me. But in order to keep your dopamine levels high, you need a certain amount of sleep. Positive music can really up your dopamine levels. It's amazing. And there's a study that I watched the other night that showed people that listened for an hour to positive music and then were asked if they would go in front of someone throwing a knife at them. And they said, almost to a fault, of course, let's do it. Okay? Their dopamine levels were very high at that point. There was another group that listened to classical music and slower music for an hour, and almost to a fault, each one of them said, I don't think so. No, you're crazy. Not going to do it. So there's definitely something for the type of music you listen to, and everything like that. Getting a certain amount of sun can also raise your dopamine levels. Exercise, of course, raises every chemical level you have. So exercise, of course, is a must and everything. Meditation can also help out a lot. So lot of different ways to raise your dopamine level. We also have endorphins, right? That's the feeling of euphoria. For especially a lot of time, pain is the one that helps endorphins rise. And one way or another, you hear about the runner's high, or when you work out for some amount of time, then it feels like you can go on forever. That's your endorphins kicking in. Exercise, laughing, music. Once again, ginseng is something that can also help it. Also, like sniffing vanilla or lavender seems to heighten your endorphin level, and even chocolate, which I have a little bit of dark chocolate, like 90% chocolate. Every day. And that's one of the reasons I do that. So endorphin is very important. It can also come from crying, right? Which is a type of pain that raises your endorphin level also, which is why some of us stay in abusive relationships and whatnot, because your endorphin levels are actually getting raised from that relationship. So we don't even realize it at the time. But that's for a different video. Oxytocin is another hormone. Some people call it the love hormone. It's a feeling of being safe and being able to trust people, meet new people, getting involved with groups, raise your oxytocin level. Also, serotonin can raise your oxytocin level. So, which of course you can get from certain proteins, also from turkey and stuff like that. There is serotonin supplements that you can get if you really want to raise it. It does make you a little bit more tired and sluggish, but it does raise your serotonin level. Also, petting a dog, meditating on other people, which we'll get to in a different video. Sharing meals with someone is a way to raise up your oxytocin level. Massage, great way to do it. It's one of my favorites. Or group exercise. And then you have the opposite type of music, relaxing music, which raises your serotonin level up. Okay. So overall what it does, it gives you a feeling of being respected and a sense of pride. So it's amazing what people do to try to create happiness in their life, and they don't know what to do. They seem stuck, and they look at depression, which has to do with the past, right? Or they have anxiety and stuff like that, which has to do with the future, instead of living in the present, being happy with what you got. Just being is the best way to put it, where meditation helps out a lot, exercise helps out a lot, because you're focusing on what you're doing for that hour. That's your hour. It's hard to think of other things besides what you're doing at that time. Writing things down, journaling is one other way to do it, because then you're inquiring about yourself and writing down important questions and asking questions and things of that nature. Which bring up nature, time in nature, fantastic way to do it. You have to ground yourself once in a while, being outside, just enjoying nature. We're in Florida, it's hot here, I get that. So you might not spend as much time this time of year. However, it's very, very important to get out, go by a lake, do something. It's fantastic to get outside. It really, really helps everything when it comes to overall happiness. You'll be amazed at how you feel at the end of the day when you just spend a little bit of time in nature. What you eat, nutrition, it's a great way, right? I do a lot of intermittent fasting and stuff like that because it makes me feel better. A lot of people have a hard time doing that. I usually don't eat till 4 or 5 o'clock, sometimes even later. Sometimes I have a protein shake at around noon. But it seems to really help the overall way I feel. And that'll be a different video. But the what you eat is huge on how you feel. You can't eat a whole pizza or a foot long sub stacked up with stuff and then expect to have all this energy and feel good. It doesn't work like that. Food can be a source of energy if used the right way, but a lot has to do with balance and what you eat. And you experiment with it and find out what works for you. What works for me does not necessarily work for everybody. So you have to find out what works for you. Meditation, as I said, fantastic way to do it. There's a lot of different types of meditations. There's meditations you can find on YouTube, which are great. It's just, you have to find what works for you. I suggest doing different things and find one that you like and do that every day. I meditate about 3 times a day, 20 to 30 minutes each time. First time in the morning has to do with gratitude and goal setting and healing. Okay. And I do a breathing technique to start it off. I'm going to do a whole separate video on that also later on. But that's something that you're going to find. It's one of the best ways to start the day. A morning routine is fantastic way to start your day, and you'll just have energy throughout the entire day, and it just amazes you how you'll be after that. I said gratitude. Gratitude cancels out every negative emotion you can have, especially anger and fear, which causes us not to do a lot of things. It's amazing. Just being grateful for who you are, which sometimes takes a little practice, right? But there's always something to be grateful for at that present moment. Just breathing, just living. There's a book. I'm grateful for that book. I look outside. There's a tree. Oh man, this is fantastic. I'm very thankful and grateful for everything around me. And I try to keep that. I start off my day with it. I end my day with it. And I try to think of it as much as possible throughout the entire day. It's amazing what that'll do for you alone. Achieving goals. Everyone likes to set that huge goal. I want to make $20 million. And some people say a year, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. Okay, but set small goals to get to that big goal. Those small goals, every time you accomplish them, it's going to do a lot more for you and help motivate you to reach that goal. I'm going to do a whole different video on goal setting too, but that's something that you can really, really use to make you happy and keep you in line with who you want to be. Happy memories. That's something I do in the morning with my gratefulness practice. I think of memories in the past that I can be grateful for, thankful for, and in return, happy for. It's hard to be grateful for something and not happy about it. Okay, so happy memories. Think of stuff in the past. It might take a little bit at first, but the more you do it, the more happy memories flood. And you'll be amazed, like, wow, it's amazing how many happy memories you will have. Smile. As you heard Kinsley, my daughter, say earlier, fake it till you make it. When you smile, it raises everything. It's amazing what that does for you. It tricks your brain. Your brain's not as smart as we like to think it is. When you smile, it thinks that something happening is going on. It's going to change your whole demeanor, your whole, just everything, your posture, your physiology, the state that you're in. So just smile, be happy, laugh. Laugh does so much for you. Just find a joke. I try to find like 2 jokes to start my morning off and something positive. But that's a laugh and smile. I try to laugh, smile, be joyful every second you can. It's amazing what that can do for you alone. And the happier you are, you'll find that more things work for you. More things come to you that are positive in nature. It's just amazing. It's like the universe starts to help you out, or whatever you want to feel, God, universe, energy, infinite intelligence, whatever you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but whatever you believe, it's going to up that. And it's really amazing just being happy. Compliment others. That's going to make them happy, which you will be amazed how that makes you feel. I try to compliment 5 people a day. It's harder now because I'm inside more. And with family. But every time I go to the grocery store, I like those shoes. Your hair looks great. I've talked about you're really good at your job. It's really easy to find things to compliment. It's just the little compliments, you'll be amazed at what it does for other people. And whether it does anything for you or not, it doesn't matter. You're helping them out. Think of how you feel when someone compliments you, even on the small things, or what you consider small, which they may consider big. So really compliment people. And of course, spend time with loved ones. That's very, very important. And sometimes people are like, I don't want to do that. Right now, everyone's spending time with loved ones, right? Sometimes more time than you want. But man, it's amazing. When you look back, you're going to appreciate that time. And sometimes even the worst memories with people, end up being the best memories and the memories that you talk about. You remember that time when Joe hit me, whatever. It's amazing. Sometimes the dramatic will cause certain memories later on that you can laugh about, and amazing things. And the last thing I'm going to talk about with happiness is the overall state that you're in. It's very, very easy to change your state. You can change a state like that, just that simple. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm going to do a whole video just on that. But simply put, if you look at someone that's depressed, how do they breathe? How are their shoulders? Are they looking down or up? There's certain telltale signs that everyone that is depressed do. And when we're depressed, we do that without even thinking about it. The second you change the physiology, when you're depressed, you're breathing pretty shallow. Breathe deeper. That's where meditation comes in quite a bit, right? You just get in the habit of breathing deeply, right? Sit up straight, shoulders back, head up. And just changing your physiology, that's the first thing to do to change your state, to change your mind, to change your happiness. And real quick, there was a study that was done a while ago. And they took an insane asylum, and they took the people in that the ones that they said could not be healed. Medication didn't work, nothing was working for them. They were just depressed. There's nothing they could do. They put them in front of a mirror, and I cannot remember if it was half an hour or an hour every day, but they looked in that mirror and they laughed at themselves. And they laughed at themselves. And they had like a 90% accuracy rate on raising their happiness levels and getting out of depression. It's amazing what you can do. Some of that has to do with self-love, right? You gotta love yourself. Affirmations and incantations also has a place with developing happiness, which I'll get to also. Probably the next video we'll go over that. But we really want to have just everything you can do. Just think about being happy, and you're amazed just that alone sometimes will start changing your mind frame and reframing things. Ask yourself, we look at reality and we try to argue with reality, and then we get sad about it. I'm supposed to go to the beach. It's raining. They're going to let that ruin their entire day, and they're going to let that cycle, and it just puts them in a miserable time frame. And all you have to do is just reframe it a little bit in their mind. I'm so happy that's raining. That could have saved me from a wreck that I may have gone into, or whatever. There's so many different ways to look at it. Even I look forward to the next time it rains. I'm glad that it rained. I just change it. And you'll be surprised just saying that. If you write it down, it's even better. You'll be amazed because then insights come out. But just reframing it in your mind will do amazing things for you. Just think differently than you do. Whatever you're thinking that depresses you, why would you keep thinking that over and over again? That's why a lot of traditional therapy takes longer to work. I'm not going to say it doesn't work because it can, obviously. It's been around for a long time. It continues to be around. There's also ways to get through that and past that a lot more quickly. Instead of replaying that in your head over and over again and cycling it, which is going to keep you in that state of mind. Get out of that state right now. Do what you can to be happy. Laugh. Find a stupid joke. Just like a lot of people say dad joke now and stuff like that. The robber broke into my house the other night, or burglar, and it woke me up. And it turned out that he was looking for money. So after I woke up, I helped him look for the money. Just something like that. Just something to laugh at, anything. And you'll be amazed at your energy level throughout the day. The productivity levels go up because you're happier. When you're happier, and you also have more fun. When you have more fun, you're more creative. You can get more stuff done. So it's just amazing. Just raise your happiness. This is why this is the first real video that I wanted to do, because I look around, especially today at the stores and whatnot, which I try not to go out as much as possible unless I have to. But I see so many people that are just sad and depressed, and it's just it kills me. There's so much they can do right now to raise that and use this as a blessing instead of a curse. And it has affected a lot of people negatively, and I feel very bad about that. But there's a lot of things that we can do just to reframe that and really create happiness that we have. And it's our jobs to make others happy. That's why I see it. If I'm happy and I lead by modeling and by example, then that can help other people be happy. They can help other people be happy. And then you have a movement, right? So you got to just be happy. Help others be happy. Do what you can. Don't let the small things get to you, and everything's small. Someone once told me. Someone much older and wiser than me said that. And it's true. You know, everything in life is 5 years down the road, we're not going to remember almost anything that affected us negatively now that we're sad about. You know, we're just not. So, you know, just do what you can. Be happy. Be yourself. And until next time, good luck.